Hello YouTube and welcome back to World of Warships with Wadres again, and for today's video we are going to be looking at the patch notes for update 8.11. Now this is going to be the last update for the year of 2019 going into 2020. So this does have a lot of things going with it, and it's also going to be active for 7 weeks because, well, according to Wargaming, they just do not have enough time to fit in an 8.12 in there as well. So this is going to be a very, very long and heavily rewarding patch overall. So kind of let's start going through it. There's a lot to talk about. First off, we have the New Year patch and the New Year's gifts. We can get Santa containers and other things that will be able to be accessed from the armory, as well as just free rewards overall. We have the snowflakes, which are coming back for this holiday season and this new year. And they have changed the parameters of this just slightly from last year. Last year, what they did was they had a kind of scaled reward for the steel specifically, but now it's a straight 75 steel for every tier 8 and tier 9 ship in your port. Tier 10 ships last year got a fair chunk of steel as well, but this year they are only giving the basic Santa containers, and tiers 5 through 7 will yield 400 to 750 coal per ship. And this is for premiums as well as tech line ships, so if you have a good size port on you, you definitely stand to benefit very highly. Now these are for the first battle in the ship after the update. These are not a daily refresh, so keep that in mind. But the nice thing is, any new ships that are unlocked during the process of going through, they will also get the snowflake rewards as well, again for the first battle in that ship per the update. There are also some New Year directives in place. This is going to be a 7 directive event for, and basically following the same general format as the rest of the events for the last year and a half. So people should be familiar with how this works for now. One of the first rewards is the Tier 7 Italian cruiser, the Gorizia. There are New Year's permanent camouflages that can be applied to Tier 8 ships that you can receive. A large Santa gift container. 4 basic Santa gift containers. 1,950 shipbuilding tokens, which we will discuss shortly. 24 shipbuilding containers, which will include elements of the shipbuilding collection. 9 new empty port slots. 18,118 coal, and another 2,250 steel overall. And, well, the Gorizia appears to be one of the easiest to access. And we've also noticed the mention of Puerto Rico. Those of you who have been keeping tabs on things will know where this is going, but we're going to get there right now with the constructing a ship section here. A dockyard will be appearing in World of Warships where we will be able to build the Tier 10 heavy super cruiser or battle cruiser, if you're going to be perfectly honest about it, Puerto Rico. This is basically a larger version of the Alaska with 12 guns instead of 9, and it is at Tier 10. And there will be multiple stages of the ship building and various rewards that will be gotten from that as well. For completing all of these construction stages, again, you will get the Puerto Rico and a exclusive camouflage for her. The shipbuilding tokens are required to gain access to the shipbuilding some of the shipbuilding boosters described in the New Year's gifts and rewards here. And this is going to be discussed down here in the other article, the New Year's gift and rewards. Overall, you will need to spend something like, let's see, 400, 1,000, and there's 900, 1,050, so 2,050 tokens overall. It says 2,400, but my count really doesn't seem to add up to that here. 5, 6, okay, yes, 2,400 because I counted 3 here for the 350 and not instead of 4. So yes, 2,400 shipbuilding tokens to accelerate progress of the construction. You will also be able to exchange for doubloons 3 boosters for a grand total of 24,000 doubloons, which is about $100 in the premium shop if you go to the straight to the high, getting that full 25,000 right off the bat. And these do also provide bonuses to the rate of construction. So these are definitely things that are nice to unlock as early as possible, just so that you can get the most out of them. As ill-advised for me as it is, I'm probably going to be going ahead and getting the full 24,000 as soon as this goes live on the 16th of December, because I personally want to get access to Puerto Rico myself. So, be that as it may. And I really don't feel like waiting for all of these shipbuilding tokens to become unlocked via directives and whatnot. So there's that to be said. Coming back to the New Year article. Let's see, scrolling down and down and down and down. Wargaming has added in the Captain's Logbook, which will track progress on ship collection, patches, etc. and so forth. I guess this is going to somewhat take place of your inventory. I don't know. There really isn't a whole lot of detail given here, I don't think. So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes out or gets implemented. Clan brawls are going to be taking place. Let's see. December 21st, December 28th, and January 4th. The 21st will be 9x9 with tier 5s. December 28th will be 4x4 and tier 8s. And 7th brawl will be January 4th in 12x12. And this is really only important for those of you who are actually capable of getting into clan battles or clan brawls. Unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be one of them. But I'm sure this information will be useful to somebody at very least. We are also dealing with a 10th season of Ranked Sprint in a 1x1 Tier 8 ship format. Now, there are some things that I believe are being held in reserve for this, primarily I think it's the radio position finding skill. So, yeah. And, of course, because this is a one by one, and to just enable matchmaking and keep it from being too limiting, you can encounter different ship classes in the 1 versus 1. So if you're playing a battleship, you may, as they say, you may find yourself playing a cruiser, or if you're playing a cruiser, you could find yourself against that battleship. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out overall for the gameplay and just where it's going to go. I think this may actually be a ranked sprint that I actually have some interest in. But again, I'm also willing to bet that these are going to be along with the routine ranked sprint rewards, which will primarily be coal. So how far I even attempt to go with this is another matter entirely. There are some game balance changes that are coming along as well. The Tier 4 Japanese aircraft carrier Hosho has had the aiming time of the torpedo bombers adjusted. Now, when the aircraft maneuver, the reticle will actually widen out again. Apparently, it was not affected by maneuvering previously, so it will be... this will affect players, I guess, starting off on the Hosho, or those who have enjoyed playing with the Hosho up to date. And basically, it just influences how effective her aim is. The Tier 10 aircraft carrier Midway, for a change, and this is impressive, is actually getting a buff. Yes, imagine that, a buff to the Midway. Who would have thought that the aircraft carriers would even apparently be deemed worthy of such a thing by the wargaming staff, but apparently so. She has been given a boost to her torpedo damage of about 800 points, which, all things considered, when you consider she can put out a spread of 6 torpedoes, is respectable. And the flooding chance of her torpedoes has been improved as well. So this is actually going to be an interesting quality of life improvement for the Midway, and it will be interesting to see how she plays after this goes through. I'm not going to deny that I think the Hakuryu could use a little bit of love as well, but for now I'll settle for anything, because the aircraft carriers have needed help for, well, months, to not put too fine a point on it, at least from my perspective. The Salem is also getting a little bit of a buff in the form of a radar duration increase. So those of you who have been relying on the Salem having a low duration radar will now have something coming to them. They won't be able to get away with pushing in a little bit too close as easily as they used to before. Also, something that has been long awaited, German battleships are getting a change to the dispersion ellipse. Now it will be similar to that of US and British battleships, and this is hoping to improve the accuracy or the consistency of German battleship main battery fire. Something else that I think players, again, have just been waiting for a very long time, something that has been kind of needed, especially considering the, dare I say, onslaught of highly accurate ships that have come into the game. I'm kind of looking at the fantasy Russian battleships. So yeah, this is definitely a good quality of life. Now the German battleships can at least have something going for them aside from just good secondary battery armaments, hopefully. Especially when you consider that, and this isn't exactly something that would affect me quite so much, but it would definitely affect other players. There are currently IFHE changes in the wind where you would get good penetration for getting the IFHE skill, but you would sacrifice a large portion of your fire chance. Now, granted, that is just a proposal at the moment, and it's certainly not discussed in this article, but it is out there, and it definitely has potential ramifications for those who rely on IFHE builds. There have also been a couple of changes to Hydroacoustic Search, Mod 1. It can now be put onto Tier 6 and higher ships, and can now be mounted on German battleships specifically, which is a major improvement, especially for the German battleships that do operate Hydroacoustic Search, and could have a major influence on gameplay overall. Again, this also does appear to be specific love towards German battleships. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. German battleships seem to be getting a good chunk of attention here. There are also some visual improvements to certain maps. I will say that the new lighting and everything on the Brothers or Neighbors map looks phenomenal. I wish they would give us previews of Trident as well, but I'm sure we're going to be seeing that in game soon anyway, so either way, still very nice looking changes, and I think it will definitely make the world look more dynamic and useful, or maybe not useful, realistic. So yeah, looking forward to those changes. The Armory is getting a new commander who I think I'm actually going to go ahead and use up my coal right off the bat to get this commander. And this is Gunther Lütjens, who was historically a German admiral, and his last tour of duty was actually aboard the German battleship, the Bismarck. Obviously, that did not end very well for too many, up to and including Lütjens, who went down with his ship. However, because of what she is, because of what he is and what he specializes in, he does have some talents that are unique to benefiting German battleships. First off, secondary armament expert. Upon earning 100 secondary battery hits, the secondary battery reload is quickened by 50% or 15%, and it can only be activated once per battle. So this is something that will greatly improve the efficiency of secondary batteries on German battleships. And based on the fact that this is based on hits ribbons and not on achievements, this is something that seems very capable to be accessed not just by random battle players, but also co-op players, because until we get talents that are equivalent to, achievements that are equivalent to those in random battles, some of these special captains that are being put into the game are kind of put to waste in co-op. So this is something that is going to be nice. Another thing, we have Iron Strike. 140 main battery hits increases the main battery reload by 7.5%. So these are again very strong German battleship or cruiser bonuses for secondary batteries and main batteries. And as much as these skills are set up to benefit all of the ship classes, including the Graf Zeppelin with his air superiority skill, which gives a bonus to aircraft restoration speed, a lot of these skills, in fact, these two skills specifically, Secondary Armament Expert and Iron Strike, will both benefit highly German battleships. Secondary Armament Expert doesn't really benefit cruisers so much, but I can say without a doubt that it will also benefit one other ship. And that is the Graf Zeppelin. So it will be very interesting to see how Gunther Lütjens performs as a secondary build both for the German battleships and for the Graf Zeppelin. That could be very, very interesting. Of course, there is one other skill here, and this is tailored more to destroyers. Upon earning 3 spotted ribbons, the HP of the ship is partially restored. The talent restores 300 HP per second, and its action time is equal to the ship's tier. So, obviously, this will have a kind of variable return if he is running on a tier 5 ship, though why in hell you would have this commander on a tier 5 ship is beyond me, but you know what, that's not my decision. The skill would be active for 5 seconds, 7 seconds for a tier 7, 10 seconds for a tier 10. So depending on which ship you have this commander on, your Z52, if you get 3 spotting ribbons after taking substantial amounts of damage, you stand the potential to earn 3,000 hit points from this skill. So that's going to be an interesting skill to see how he comes out with, especially for German destroyers in potentially ranked scenarios or competitive scenarios. Not that I'm going to be getting into those myself, but it definitely has a lot of potential. He also has a couple of just bonuses to regular skills. Preventative maintenance has a 45% decrease to risk of module incapacitation, which is good news for those of you who wish to use him on your destroyers. He has a enhanced expert marksman skill, which is kind of one of the more standard skills they've given these commanders, to be honest. But it is an improved turret traverse and something that will definitely benefit the German battleships and I think even the German cruisers. And of course there's also the improved engine boost, which gives benefit to the Graf Zeppelin. So again, potential here for a Graf Zeppelin built commander as well. But again, personally, I've never really seen too much of a need to utilize some of the aircraft carrier bonusing skills specifically on the Graf Zeppelin, because her aircraft are especially powerful and fast as it is, though the engine action time, I guess, does have some merit to it. And of course, there are other things that he has. He will have a special pennant that will be on the ship. He has colored shells or tracers that will be added. And of course, every time one of his talents is activated, he will be capable of launching a flare. And all three of these can be activated in his commander profile or turned off by comparison. And of course, when you pull him from the armory, he will come with 10 skill points already. And he will be specialized for the Hermeline. So you will need at least 500 doubloons to transfer him to the ship of your choice and have him rapidly retrained, assuming you do not just have the Elite Commander EXP saved up to do so outright. There will be additional Ships for Doubloons coupons added for the duration of this update, primarily as a Christmas present to players or New Year's gift to players. And this will give a 10, 15, and 20% discount to players for the regular premium ships. And I can definitely see where this could be useful. And I would definitely recommend using these on a varying scale. For example, if you have a lower tier ship that you're looking at, I would probably use your 10%. And just as the, tier that you're interested in is increased, look at using one of your higher percentage discounts. So I would definitely save the 25% for like your tier 9 and 10, maybe the 20% for your 7s and 8s, the 15% for your 5s and 6s, and the 10% for anything below that. But that's just my personal recommendation. There's also nothing that says you can't use these for tier 9 or tier 8s outright either. But you will definitely see that would definitely come with diminishing returns as well, but that's to be expected. There is a New Year permanent camouflage for tier 8 ships that will be available for doubloons, and it does look nice and unique, and this could be applied to any tier 8 ships that don't really have anything unique to them currently. But personally, I think I'd rather just go with some of the national permanent camouflages, because I think those... honestly, I think this one just kind of looks a little bit gaudy, but that's just me. The one note is that they cannot be applied to the premium aircraft carriers or to the Takao, Harakaze, Yukikaze, or Montpellier. Belle Epoque containers are being added to the armory in exchange for coal, and shipbuilding containers will be available for exchange in doubloons. And the shipbuilding containers will be available in the armory until the release of Update 9, which will be probably late January or early February of next year. Graf Zeppelin, Kaga, and Saipan are also being added to the Ships for Doubloons section in the armory. And apparently they're also improving the list of camouflages that are available for tier for certain ships in the armory as well, or even just for the game client for purchase. So maybe if you don't like your permanent camouflage for the St. Louis, you can now instead look at the bionic camouflage, which some of you may or may not have missed out on during the space warfare several months ago, like I know I did. But again, these will be purchasable for doubloons, so it's also up to you as to whether or not you actually want to go out and spend that on this versus your, I guess, your Puerto Rico boosts if you are tight on funds. There has also been a new permanent camouflage added for the Leander, which does look rather interesting, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. I like the black and white accents here, but that's, again, more just a cosmetic thing than anything else, and of course it would come with the standard permanent camouflage bonuses. The Tier 8 Russian battleship Borodino, the Tier 8 heavy cruiser Cheshire, the Tier 9 Pan-Asian, that could be interesting. Tier 9 Pan-Asian battleship and the Tier 8 Pan-Asian cruiser have been added for testing. This is the Borodino, the Cheshire, the Baje, and the Wukong. So those are probably going to be looked at in the client sometime in the next 3 or 4 months for purchase. Right now they are just being put in for testing, and will be interesting to see how the information comes out on those. Other improvements and changes, just some minor quality of life improvements, shortening of loading times, etc. Brindisi description has been changed. Hull volume of Svitolina has been changed. Secondary battery models for the all-destroyer camouflage of Grossa Kurfürst has been adjusted. Kuznetsov and Sansonetti have been given red shell tracers, so I guess there were issues with the shell tracers that they were having. The Monster Bay port is no longer available. One of the things that I was noticing when I was reading through this earlier is there is currently no address to the bug that I mentioned in one of my previous videos discussing the bot detection mechanics, where they would open fire with high super velocity shells that skim the surface of the water when detecting enemy ships or reacquiring enemy ships in co-op matches. So either that has not gotten very far, or it just has not been properly adjusted yet. I don't know, but hopefully, I do hope that it is still being out there and being addressed in some respect. But you know what? That's maybe next patch. Who knows? Or maybe somehow they deemed it wasn't really worth addressing at all, but who knows? Personally, I would rather hope they deal with it, but apparently it's not going to be in this patch. Anyway, that is all of that for the patch notes. Coming back over to the New Year's gifts and rewards, we do have a couple of other things that we are looking at. The daily shipments, we will have, I think it's, 14 daily shipment rewards to include premium time, event camouflages, coal, a couple of Christmas containers, as well as the shipbuilding containers, as well as, again, I think it's like a week's worth of premium time. I could be wrong. And also a small chunk of doubloons as well. The shipbuilding containers will feature elements of the shipbuilding collection, which will just discuss overall shipbuilding processes, so on and so forth, to my understanding. They will also include Frosty Fur or New Year Streamer Camouflage. And there will also be either Doubloons, Doubloon Premium Coal, Premium Time, Free EXP, or Elite Commander EXP, or credits. Kind of standard rewards for a collection container. The Gorizia will get combat missions that you can unlock to earn a couple of tech line ships, primarily the Furious, the Ismail, Gepard, and the Trento. I'm not entirely sure how you actually get the Gorizia anymore, honestly. I thought it was going to be as part of the chain of events here, but now it's looking like if you purchase the Gorizia, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see exactly where that comes from. I don't know what's going on with that anymore all of a sudden. But apparently if you have the Gorizia, you can gain access to these mission chains, which will get you the Furious, Ismail, Gepard, and the Trento. And if you do not already have these ships, these are tier 6 ships that will be added to your port. Or if you already have all 6 of the, or all 4 of these ships, like I do, you will be given the commanders and credits. So, nice way to earn some quick and easy credits, I suppose. Of course, the Santa's gifts are standard from the last few years, and these will have kind of standard rewards. You will have a chance of earning a premium ship with a 10 skill point commander, 300 doubloons, 2,500 coal, 10,000 free EXP, 30 days of premium time, as well as a whole slew of camouflage and signals, and that's the basic Santa's gifts. The big Santa's gifts will have a 1,000 doubloon reward, 7,500 coal, 90 days of premium time, and an increase to the number of camouflages you receive, and you will also receive 15 of the unique or economic flags. So Scylla, Basilisk, and all of those. And of course, there will be the Mega Santa's gifts as well, which will have the highest chance, I believe, of dropping premium ships, 2,000 doubloons, 1,250 coal, 180 days of premium time, yet another increase to the spread of camouflages as far as the number per box, but you will also get the chance of getting 5 Mosaic, Asian Lantern, or Spring Sky camouflages, which are the extremely lucrative economic camouflages, if I do say so. And you will also get an increase to the number of unique economic flags as well. So there's that to be said. As far as compensation for ships that were already obtained from, or so on and so forth, if the ship is already in your port, it will be replaced with a super container that will drop another ship from the list. If you have all of the ships, Santa container will drop a different reward. So there's that to be said as well. If containers were not immediately opened, and you obtained a ship that could drop prior to opening it, the ship will be refunded to you in the form of doubloons, and the commander will still be added with a port slot. And of course, there is still the Puerto Rico to be discussed here. We already mentioned this a little bit earlier, but there are going to be some additional things to talk about here. You will get access to rewards from completing stages of the ship's construction. The stage 1 gives you 5,000 free EXP, some signal flags, 1,000 coal, and some premium time, as well as a regular Santa's gift. or regular Santa's gift. You will have the Stage 2, which gives you 2,000 coal, 10,000 free EXP, more signal flags, 3,000 coal, and a big Santa's gift. Stage 3 gives you a spread of 4-year anniversary crates, 4,000 coal, and a mega Santa's gift. Stage 4 gives you 3 days of premium time and economic flags, as well as a permanent camouflage. Stage 5 gives you more economic flags, 5,000 coal, and another permanent camouflage. And Stage 6 gives you, looks like, Mosaic, Asian Lantern, and Spring Sky camouflage, 2,000 steel, 10,000 coal, and the Puerto Rico with her special, highly Americanized permanent camouflage. And we already discussed the shipbuilding boosters and all of those just a little bit earlier. But anyway, that is how all of this is basically set out to work. And of course, the Christmas containers will have the potential to give you the standard list of premium ships, which has obviously been expanded this year because there have been several more that were released. And those, I'm trying to find the drop down on the overall number of rewards here. The list of ships. There we go. It's a pretty impressive list of ships, and this again includes all of the current premium ships that are in-game, as well as some that players may have been unfortunate enough to miss out on previously, like the Tier 9 USS Missouri. You've also got the Musashi, the Kronstadt, Georgia, Azuma, Friesland, and just some ships that have been removed from direct sale, like, say, the Imperial de Nikolai or the Gremyashi. Other notable ones for the year, we have the Udachi, the Virginia 41, the Lazo. Let's see, looking down a little bit further, we've got the Veribus Unitus that's in there, the Yahagi, Exeter. In short, they've basically added a good number of ships into here for a total of 81 potential ships. Personally, I'm just hoping I finally get my shot at the, where is it? Yeah, I know it's on the list here somewhere. Yes, there it is, the Giulio Cesare. But, of course, there are also others in here that were special reward ships, like the Fujin, the Kamikaze. So, just, and of course, there's also the Mikhail Kutuzov in there. These are ships that were, again, removed because they were deemed to be highly overpowered, so instead of trying to nerf them, which would be a affront to their policy against adjusting premium ships, they simply removed them from sale, and now you can only get them by way of the Santa's gift containers. So if you are looking for some of your highly overpowered ships that you missed out on in previous iterations, again, now you have your chance again with the Santa containers, and you will probably not see this chance again until next year. So, hoo-yah. Anyway, I think that discusses everything that is relevant to this coming patch, which will be dropping tomorrow. And I hope you all find it informative as far as your overall potential to earn anything. Oh, and by the way, looking at all of this, yes, the Gorizia, the Gorizia does come as a reward. You will be able to get her for free in-game for completing the first directive of the new year. So, yes, you can get her for free and still proceed through the chain of missions that I discussed earlier. Probably should have backtracked a little bit earlier to look at that. But you will, for the directives of the new year, you will also get New Year permanent camouflages. For Santa's gifts, the shipbuilding tokens we discussed earlier, and everything else that we discussed earlier. So, yeah, awesome. There we go. Again, as I was saying, though, I hope you all found this informative as far as your options for the upcoming 8.11 patch, and I hope to catch you all in battle. Have a good one. Happy hunting, folks.